This 2021 Newmar Ventana had some issues, but were they deal breakers? Stick around and find out. Hi everybody, it's Deb with Deb's RV Services and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to walk you through an inspection I did in Colorado on a 2021 Newmar Ventana. Now I'm going to show you all the things that I found wrong with it, but I'm also going to showcase some other highlights about this beautiful motor coach. Newmars are super quality. They have such a beautiful interior fit and finish. They have solid surface countertops. They have beautiful flooring. The whole interior looks luxury, which is why it's one of my highly recommended coaches. But let me start to tell you some of the things that I found. The roof overall looked good, but there were plenty of areas that needed to have sealant repaired. It was around all the roofing components, the supporting brackets, the plumbing. It was basically around a lot of the roof of the coach. It's a 2021 coach, so it hadn't been updated since it was new, and it definitely needed to have some work. The tires were all dated 2024, so they looked good, but the pressure was not at the proper recommended amount by the manufacturer, so that needed to be changed. And then I looked underneath, the transmission looked good, the airbags looked good, and there were no leaks. I didn't find anything wrong in the components underneath. I check out all the steering components. I'm looking at the shocks. I'm looking at the engine, the transmission, all the things. And if I find anything that looks like it might need to be further evaluated by a technician, I do write that up. I am not an automotive tech, and I always want to remind people of that. But I do know how to look for signs of things that don't look normal and possibly need to be further investigated. So one of the first things I found that was broken was the door lock. So I always test and I open up the screen and I test the lock on the door, and this was completely broken off. The other thing is the screen had a tear in it. And then I noticed that with the awnings, when you use the remote for the awnings, they're programmed. So you might have program number, it's like 0, 1, and 2. Well, this one had 0 and 1, and both 0 and 1 only operated the main awning. So the rear awning did not work using the remote. So that needed to be written up. Something else I noticed on the slide is that there was a seal that had a gap between the seal and the sidewall, and it was not even on both sides, and they should be. So that wiper seal should be touching the sidewall at all times, so that needed to be further investigated. On one of the slides, there was awning material that was completely missing, and you could see some of the shreds of the material while I was on the roof looking down at it. I also noticed as I was climbing down the ladder that there were some cracks in the fiberglass. I noticed that one of the lights was burned out, so I check all of the lights in the exterior of the motorhome, and sometimes I find burned lights and just they need to be replaced. And one of the other things I found was that the main chassis air conditioner did not work correctly. So it wasn't that it just didn't blow cold air, it's that the actual on and off button did not stay on. It would just turn right back off. So that needed to be further investigated. The batteries worked, but the actual water that you're supposed to add, the distilled water to the lead acid batteries, was really low. So that needed to be repaired. And then the other things that I found on the interior was that when I tried to test the televator, the thing that brings the TV up and down, it did not work. So it was stuck in the up position. That needed to be looked at. And once again, I have a residential refrigerator that did not cool properly. I don't know what it is about refrigerators, but I find this a lot, and I had it in the on position. I try to troubleshoot these things a little bit, but every refrigerator is a little bit different. But I look up the manual and I try to see if there's just something I am hitting incorrectly, not turning it on correctly. Do I need to reset it somehow? And I did everything I could, and this refrigerator did not cool. So that got written up. Before hiring an inspector, you may want to go check out an RV by yourself. That's why I created the DIY inspection workbook. It gives you beautiful color photos and step-by-step guide on how to inspect all the systems of the RV. Now, I further created some separate ebooks that are thin books that are lower in price point that go into individual advanced training. If you don't know how to use a multimeter, I've created a Multimeter 101 ebook that gives you all the details on how to set the multimeter, how to test batteries, how to test fuses, how to test the most common things in an RV. And this ebook is going to be in the same place that my DIY inspection workbook is. It's over on my Stan store, and I will link the description in the bottom. Go check it out if you're interested. There were also some expired life safety items like the propane detector that needed to be replaced. And by the way, those need to be replaced every 5 years. And you guys, propane and CO is such an important detector. And sometimes they're separate, sometimes they're together. A lot of times you'll see propane and CO together on the same detector, but other times you'll just see propane, and then you might have a CO detector up on the ceiling that looks like a smoke detector. But please make sure you replace those every 5 years. I always find them out of date whenever I'm doing an inspection, and there's such a life safety issue. I did find some crinkled wallpaper on the walls, but I want to let you know that that doesn't always mean that there's water intrusion. And I do get a lot of people that will say, they might go look at an RV before I come there, and they will say, I saw some crinkled wallpaper on the walls. Can you look at that? And I always say, absolutely, I will look at that, and I will try to see if I can tell if there's been any water intrusion. But a lot of times it's sort of like a manufactured defect. It's the way they applied it, or it could be that there was some kind of humidity where the adhesive no longer sticks and it's just crinkled, but I don't find anything behind the wall where there's been a source of water. If there was, I would find sometimes some softness. I would find that there's some staining. There's usually always a clue, and I can use my moisture meter if I want to go dig further. But in some of these cases, like with this coach, I saw crinkled wallpaper, but it didn't show me that there were any signs of water intrusion. Something I want to point out, especially for all you inspectors out there with the Truma water heater, sometimes when you get into an RV, you'll find that the propane is not actually on, and you find out the hard way where you turn something on and it doesn't work. So with the Truma system, the light will blink and it will flash at you to tell you that there's something wrong. So the first thing I do is I go out and I check, is the propane actually on? And it wasn't on, so I turn it on. Now, if I were to go back in and try to start that water heater up again, the light would continue to blink. Before you go and write something up and state that it doesn't work, try resetting it. So what you want to do is you want to turn off all sources. So there could be a source at where it says the Truma water heater panel, where you see the orange light, and you turn that off. Then there could be a source on the control panel inside the RV, but there's also that on and off switch outside the external on the water heater itself. Turn that to the off position. Wait a couple minutes, turn it back on, go back inside, turn it on at the control panel, and turn it on at the Truma control panel, and then you will get heat. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of finagling or thinking outside the box. As inspectors, we are instructed to test things. If they don't work, we write them up. But as you start doing this, and as you're doing it for a longer period of time, you find that sometimes there are easy fixes that you can do yourself, that you don't necessarily have to write up and have a tech do it. But if you've tried to do a couple different things to fix the problem, then I would say you just go ahead and have a tech further investigate. I was testing the washer, and I always test the washer and dryer. I run the washer on a short load, so the quickest express load that I can find, which is about 30 minutes. So I will do that while I'm doing everything else, and I'll make sure that it works without leaks. Now, there were no leaks in this, but I did find this thick substance at the bottom on the floor, and my guess is it looked like laundry detergent. So probably from the prior owner that it was just left there, but all I can say is found thick substance on the floor. I don't really know what it is, but it wasn't water. It wasn't leaking. That's about all I found during this RV inspection. So overall, it didn't look bad. Now, this being an as-is motorhome, what would you have done? Would you have purchased it and then went and did all the repairs? Or would you have negotiated with the dealership and said, listen, I'm going to tally up all these things that are wrong, and I want this knocked off the price, or I want you guys to repair it? Tell me what you would do in the comments, and I will see you on the next video.